He dropped 50 points in the NBA Finals on a knee that should have buckled, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, a title Milwaukee hadn't touched in 50 years, all because of one man. But that night in July 2021 wasn't just a win, it was redemption. 2 years of heartbreak, collapsed playoffs, and MVP seasons that ended in silence. So what changed? How did Giannis go from crumbling under pressure to delivering one of the most dominant championship runs in NBA history? By the time the 2018-19 season rolled around, Giannis wasn't just good anymore. He was scary good. The Bucks had found their identity with Mike Budenholzer as coach. They surrounded Giannis with shooters. They gave him space to work, and most importantly, they got out of his way and let him be unstoppable. 27.7 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 5.9 assists per game. But those numbers don't tell the whole story. It was how he played, like a man possessed, taking over games in the fourth quarter, making plays that left defenders looking lost. He wasn't just putting up stats, he was dominating. The regular season was a statement. Milwaukee finished 60-22, best record in the league. Giannis was everywhere, blocking shots, grabbing rebounds, running the fast break like a freight train. And when the games got tight, he took over. There was the 52-point explosion against Philadelphia, the triple-doubles that came so easy they looked routine, the way he made all-stars look ordinary. When the MVP voting came in, it wasn't even close. 78 first-place votes out of 101. The Greek freak had arrived, but the real test was still coming. In the playoffs, Milwaukee looked unstoppable. They swept Detroit in the first round. Giannis was putting up 24 points, 10 rebounds and 6 assists, while barely breaking a sweat. Then came Boston in the second round, and Giannis stepped up even more. The Celtics had no answer. Game after game, he dominated both ends of the court. The Eastern Conference Finals, Toronto Raptors. This was it. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. Kawhi Leonard was coming off the shot that changed everything. 4 bounces on the rim against Philadelphia. The buzzer beater that sent shockwaves through the basketball world. The shot that announced to everyone Kawhi was different. He was built for these moments. And now, he was bringing that same ice-cold confidence to face Giannis and the Bucks. For most of the series, it felt like Milwaukee's time. Giannis led his team to a 2-0 lead, playing like the best player in the world. The Bucks looked unstoppable. They had home court. They had momentum. They had the MVP. But Kawhi had something else. He had that killer instinct that only shows up when everything's on the line. Game 3 back in, Toronto changed everything. The Raptors found their rhythm. Kawhi started hunting, not just scoring, but taking over every possession that mattered. The series shifted. The momentum flipped. What looked like Milwaukee's coronation became Toronto's comeback. 4 straight wins. 4 games where Kawhi outplayed the league MVP. 4 games where the Raptors showed they were built for this moment. Game 6, May 25th, 2019. The entire country of Canada was watching. This was their first shot at the finals in franchise history. And with everything on the line, Kawhi delivered again. 27 points, 17 rebounds, 7 assists. But those numbers don't tell the whole story. It was how he suffocated Giannis on defense, how he made clutch shot after clutch shot, how he grabbed every big rebound when it mattered. The Raptors came back from 15 points down in the second half, down 15 to the team with the best record in the league, down 15 with their season on the line. And they fought back possession by possession, stop by stop. 100-94, final score. Giannis walked off that court with 21 points and 11 rebounds in a losing effort. He was 24 years old. He had just won his first MVP award, and he had come so close to the finals, he could taste it. But there was something in his eyes as he left the court that night. Something that said, this wasn't the end. This was just the beginning. Then came the strangest season in NBA history. COVID-19 changed everything. The world stopped. The season paused. And when basketball finally came back, it was in a bubble in Orlando, Florida. No fans. No home court advantage, just pure basketball in the weirdest circumstances imaginable. But Giannis, he was better than ever. Back-to-back MVP awards. Not just winning it, but dominating the voting again. He was putting up numbers that hadn't been seen since Shaq in his prime. The only player in NBA history to finish in the top 20 in all 5 major statistical categories: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. He was doing everything. The regular season was historic. Milwaukee had the best record in the league again. Giannis was unstoppable. He was shooting better from 3. His defense was suffocating. He even won Defensive Player of the Year on top of his 2nd straight MVP. Everything was set up perfectly. The bubble was supposed to be the great equalizer. No crowd noise, no travel, no distractions, just basketball at its purest form. The playoffs started and Milwaukee looked ready. They handled Orlando in the first round without much trouble. Giannis was doing Giannis things, dunking on everyone, blocking shots, making it look easy. Then came the second round, Miami Heat, and everything fell apart. The Bucks were eliminated in 5 games. 5 games. The team with the best record in the league, the back-to-back MVP, gone in 5 games. Giannis tried everything. He put up 21 points and 10 rebounds in the final game. He battled through an ankle injury. He gave everything he had, but it wasn't enough. Jimmy Butler and the Heat had figured something out in that bubble. They were built for that environment, and Milwaukee wasn't. As Giannis watched the Heat advance to the finals, the questions started flying. Can he win the big one? Is he a playoff choker? Can a team built around him actually win a championship? The doubters were loud. The criticism was harsh. And for the first time in his career, Giannis faced real questions about his ability to lead a team to the promised land. But champions aren't made in the good times. They're forged in the fire of failure, and Giannis was about to show the world what he was really made of. The 2020-21 season started with questions hanging over everything. Would Giannis stay in Milwaukee? Could this team actually win it all? Or were they destined to be another great regular season team that couldn't get over the hump? The regular season was solid, but not spectacular. Milwaukee finished 3rd in the East. Giannis was still dominant, but there was something different, something more focused, more determined. Like a man with something to prove. The playoffs started against Miami. Revenge time. And Giannis made sure everyone knew it. He swept the Heat in the first round, getting his payback for the bubble heartbreak. 4 games. Complete domination. The message was clear. Last year was a fluke. Then came Brooklyn. The Nets with Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. The super team everyone thought would roll to the championship. This was supposed to be Milwaukee's roadblock, the series that would end their dreams again. Game 7, overtime. Everything on the line. Durant's foot was on the line. Millimeters from ending Milwaukee's season, but it counted as a 2, not a 3. The Bucks survived. Barely, but they survived. The conference finals against Atlanta was different. This time, Milwaukee was ready. They took care of business in 6 games. Giannis was playing his best basketball. Everything was clicking. And then came the finals. Phoenix Suns. Chris Paul finally getting his shot. Devin Booker looking unstoppable. This was it. This was the moment Giannis had been building toward his entire career. Game 1 was a nightmare. Phoenix dominated. Giannis tried to do too much, and it showed. Game 2 was worse. Down 0-2, heading to Milwaukee with all the old questions coming back. Maybe he really couldn't win the big one. But something happened in Game 3. Giannis found another level. The home crowd was electric. He started attacking the rim like his life depended on it. 26 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. Milwaukee won. The series was alive. Game 4 belonged to Chris Middleton, but Giannis was right there with him. Another 26 points and 14 rebounds. The series was tied. Everything had changed. Game 5 was a war. Back in Phoenix with the Suns desperate to regain control, but Giannis wouldn't let them. He was everywhere, on defense, on offense, making plays that don't show up in the box score, recover but win championships. Then came Game 6, July 20th, 2021, the night everything changed. Milwaukee's first chance to win a championship in 50 years, at home, with Giannis carrying the weight of the city, the franchise, and his own legacy on his shoulders. And he delivered the performance of a lifetime. 50 points, 14 rebounds, 5 blocks, shooting 16 of 25 from the field, making free throws when it mattered, playing through pain, playing through pressure, playing like the champion he had always dreamed of becoming. 50 points out of the team's 105 total, nearly half of Milwaukee's scoring, in a closeout game, in the finals. At 26 years old, when the final buzzer sounded, Giannis collapsed to the floor, not from exhaustion, not from injury, from pure emotion. Years of doubt, years of criticism, years of coming up short, all of it washed away at that moment. He had done it. The kid from Greece who came from nothing had delivered everything. 35.2 points and 13.2 rebounds per game in the finals. Finals MVP, NBA champion, the culmination of a journey that started with heartbreak and ended with pure magic. As he held both trophies, the championship and the finals MVP, Giannis wasn't thinking about the critics or the doubters or the people who said it couldn't be done. "I just couldn't leave," he said. And he didn't. He stayed, he fought, he believed, and he delivered one of the greatest finals performances in NBA history. Sometimes the best stories aren't about the kid who had it easy. They're about the one who got knocked down, got back up, and refused to quit until he reached the top. That's Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's his championship story. And that's why his 2021 finals run will be remembered as one of the greatest of all time.